Hey guys, welcome back. And today we'll be dealing with colors. I felt as an intro, I should solve this cube that has colors. I don't know, those vibes. This thing is actually chill. This 21 days we're doing. Stop pressure. Just enjoy yourself. And I want to do it. I don't know. Alright, I'm done. Yeah. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Alright, so we're dealing with applying colors in CSS today. And last time we did introduction. Yep, so let's just get that. Right. So I'll just teach you how to specify colors, color terminologies, contrast, and ensuring your text is readable and background colors. So I already created a file called colors, and it might not be doing much. So let's just do something basic, and let's say software engineering. Right, and let's do something like an H2. What you should know about software engineering. Okay, let's do a lorem. Okay, I think that's fine. So what I've actually done is that I've already created a CSS file. I'll just use to explain some basic things. Alright. So what are colors? Colors are colors. They change the color of something. So basically you might sometimes want to change the color of a text of your background. Many other things. So first thing I want you to know, as I've mentioned earlier, one thing you should understand when you're working with CSS is that it treats everything as a box. Okay, and what we've tried to do here is that we've started our body, just copy this as I'm talking, start our body to have this RGB color, we start our H1 to have this color and this color. So first let's open this in our web browser. Okay, we have that. Right, now I've said that it treats everything as its own box. So that means you can change the background color of your H1. You can change the background color of your H2, change the background color of your paragraph. Even if you add this seat, for example, let's change the back. Let's do I. Alright, and let's put seat. We'll come here and do I and give it the background color of green, of yellow. That's a yellow. So yeah. So it treats everything as its own box. If you add a padding here and give it 5 pixels, it's what we're treating everything as its own box. So that's basically how it works. Okay. So let's just go back and let me remove this. Okay. So what are the things you know about colors? You see colors are written like this, colors are written like this, colors are written like this. So colors are written like this. To do that comment, you can also comment in CSS, Ctrl/4/ as I said before, and just type in manually. That's called RGB values. And we'll be looking at what those are. This one's the one here, they're just normal color names. Okay. And the one here, they're called X codes. And this is also what a normal color name. Alright. So what do we mean by RGB values? And I've tried to put a number of I have some images to explain that. Right, so let's start from here. RGB values for red, green, and blue are expressed as numbers between 0 to 25. So the color that we have here is made up of the following values. 102 represents red, 205 represents green, and 170 represents blue. What does this mean? It's not maybe if by default on your CSS, you might put something like when you see RGB 25 25 25, the first segment, all right, and I see can I see try writing here. Yeah. So let's just continue. Okay. So when you if you have something like RGB, there are usually three compartments, right? The first one, okay, there's no space to write. There are usually three compartments. The first one always represents red, the second one represents green, and the last one represents yellow. Sorry, blue. Alright. So this color is made of the following value. Just one is representing red. So if I represent the amount of number of green that's there, and 170 is representing blue. So that's what this is all about. So X codes. X values represent values of red, green, and blue in hexadecimal code. So 66CDAA. So the value of red in the previous image you looked at, the value of red 102 is expressed as 66 here in hexadecimal code, and 205 of green is expressed as CDA and 170 of blue equates to AA. Yeah. Now color names. Colors are represented by the predefined names. We all know color names from childhood and all that. However, they can be printed in number. So your RGB and your X code just allows you to mix all sorts, right? So yeah, it says that they have 147 color names supported by the browser. Alright. This one is called medium aquamarine. Okay, but because like mostly it's considered to be a limited color palette, and it's hard to remember the name of each of the colors. So apart from black and white, they are not really commonly used. So hue is near to a colloquial idea of color. Technically speaking, however, a color can also have saturation and brightness as well as hue. So I'm going to look at also the meaning of saturation and brightness. Now, saturation refers to the amount of gray color at maximum. Refers to the amount of gray color at maximum saturation. At maximum saturation, there will be no gray color. At minimum saturation, the color would mostly be gray. Then brightness or value refers to how much black is in a color. At maximum brightness, there will be no black in the color, and at minimum brightness, the color will be very dark. So we'll also look at lightness later on and get to HSL now. When we talk about contrast, what do we mean? So this is an example of a low contrast, like this image right here. When there's a low contrast, the text is harder to read. Alright, a lack of contrast is particularly a problem for those with visual impairments and color blindness. It's also affecting with poor monitors and sunlight on their screens, which is increasingly common as people use Android device outdoor. Okay, then we have eye contrast. This text, like you can see now, the text here is easier to read. But like if you have, I feel like if you have something like this in your whole page, it's too much contrast and it makes it harder for people to read too. Then there's medium contrast. For long spans of text, reducing the contrast a little bit will improve readability, and you can introduce contrast by using dark gray text on a white background or an off-white text on a dark background. Now, if the text is reversed out, in the case that a light color on a dark background in exchange for this eye contrast here, it is advisable that you actually increase the height between the lines and the weight of the font to make it easier to read. So that will really make sense. Okay, so let's get back here. I'm going to paste the foot. Yeah. So let's talk about HSL. 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 Yeah. My bad. I'm really sorry. So basically, HSL is a color property. A color property that allows you to specify colors using hue, saturation, and lightness. So instead of specifying the amount, like your RGB will specify amount of red, amount of green, and amount of blue. But what HSL is trying to do is actually specify the amount of hue you want, the amount of saturation you want, and the amount of lightness you want. So, and as you can see, this is HSL here. Alright. So lightness can be expressed. Let's start from the last part. So it goes like this. Let me try to comment something out. So it's like HSL. Alright. Then you have hue. Alright. Saturation. And you have lightness. While for RGB, it is just like RGB is more like red, green, blue. Okay. So hue. Let's start from hue. I'm not so sure of the pronunciation honestly. Then HSLA. This last part represents opacity. It could also have the same thing like RGBA. For example, if I keep a background color, let's use background color, and I say RGBA. Okay. You see, give you this red green alpha. This alpha here is the opacity. So that's something like 255, 255, 255, 25. No, 0.5. Okay. I'm sure I'm trying to work around something. I just want to like explain something. Yeah. Something's up. All right, this is it. Let me see what's going on. Please pardon me. An override somewhere. I can't seem to figure out the issue is linked to colors. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the background color here is yellow. Okay. Just let's show that nothing is working. So we have an RGB of 25, 25, 25. I'm trying to see a way you can do 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That will be black. And let's give it a color of white. And the font color will be white. I want you to notice how deep this black is. Now if I add an A here, RGB, and I put 0.5, you see that it reduces the opacity as the thickness of the black. So that's the purpose of RGBA. So the same way you have RGBA is the same way you have HSLA. So like I said, HSL is just to determine the amount of hue, saturation, and lightness that is in color. So that's what it is. So when you're using this, you're also giving it, let's remove this, you're also adding an opacity for the HSL here. So that's basically what you need to know. So mention that hue is represented as an angle between 0 to 360 degrees. As how hue is represented. Then saturation is is expressed as percentage. So here it has 100%. The light is also expressed as percentage. So 0 means it is white, 0% means it is white, 50% means it is normal, and 100% means it is black. So I mentioned that we're going to look at definition of lightness. So let's check out. So lightness is the amount of white or black. Lightness is the amount of white, that's referring to lightness, or black, darkness in color. So lightness is represented as a percentage. 0% lightness is black, and 100% lightness is white, and 50% lightness is normal. And lightness too can be referred to as luminosity. Alright, so that's something you should know. So that's basically all you need to know about colors, and I've explained contrasting. So this is the exercise I'm giving you guys to do. No, I'll just use it as practice to actually get hand-on idea. So this is it. You do this scale. The source code is in the description below, so you guys can just look at it and practice it on your own. And this is the CSS. It's pretty simple to get you understanding and using the scribe font, like your generated color palette or something more like this. So yeah, peace out and have a nice time.